Now let us start today's topic. Right, we are in the lesson 3 circulatory system. And one of the topic from this lesson is how material transport within the plant. Right, in this we already know that what is the role of the xylem, what is the role of the phloem. Already you have studied in the ninth class, and also in the first lesson you studied about the food prepared by the leaves and supplied to the each and every part of the plant. Now let us see the one of the activity, the absorption of root heads. Right? To perform this activity, first of all we need a germinated bajra or mustard seeds. Right? Examine some mustard seedlings which have been grown on wet filter paper. Observe the mass of the fine thread coming from the seeds by the hand lens. Now observe the mass of the fine threads coming from the seeds by the hand lens. These are the root heads through which the water enter the plants. Right. As the seeds are germinating, we will see the fine thread-like structure coming out from the root, and these are called root heads through which the water enter the plant. Gently squash the portion of the radicle between the slides and cover slip in a drop of water and examine under a microscope. Now you have to take a radicle between a slide and cover slip. Before covering the cover slip, pour a drop of water and examine under a microscope. Note the thickness of the wall of the root hair. Now you have to note the thickness of the wall. Here the osmosis play an important role in the absorption of water by the root hair. Already you know what is the osmosis, right? The movement of the molecule from the find out the answer, right? Right here, the root hair grow out into the space between the soil particle and that the hairs are surrounded by the moisture. Right here, the root hairs grow out into the spaces between the soil particle and that the hairs are surrounded by the moisture. Right, you know that the roots will find their place, the space between the sand particles, and grow in that space. Here, the soil water is an extremely dilute solution of the salt, more dilute than that of the cell sap in the root hair. Therefore, water will pass into the vacuoles of the root hair by osmosis. Here, whatever the soil water, it is very dilute. The concentration is very low, and when you see the cell sap, it is very high. It is not dilute, it is concentrate. Here, what you know note by the osmosis, here you came to know. Here the concentration, here movement of the molecules from the higher concentration to the lower concentration is called osmosis. Here when you see the concentration of the soil water is high when compared to the concentration of the cell sap of the root hair. Right, here osmosis is movement from the higher concentration to the lower concentration is called osmosis, so that it become weaker than its neighboring. As you know, the water is entering from the soil. It is very dilute. Whenever it enter into the cell sap, what will happen? The dilution, it also get diluted. Then it also affects by the osmosis, the neighboring cells also get diluted. When you see they get diluted, right, so water passes into the neighboring cells, which in turn becomes diluted. Finally water enter the xylem vessels, as there are vast number of root heads and the root cells are involved. Not only one root hair is involved in the absorption of water, so many root heads are involved, right children? So many root heads are involved, and so many roots absorb a large amount of water, and slowly the water enter the xylem vessels, and a pressure in the xylem vessel develops which force the water upward. This total pressure is known as root pressure. Right? Root pressure is not the main cause of the movement of water in the xylem, but it is certainly one of the factor. The other factor also there, right? One of the factor is now the so much of water is absorbed due to the osmosis, and the water enters into it, and the large amount of the water moves upward through a pressure called root pressure. Right, we'll discuss about the root pressure further. Right children, now you came to know how the water is absorbed by the roots. Here the root heads are having the cell sap, Once if you see the diagram, very easy diagram it is, right? You can see xylem vessels, cell of cortex, cell sap, vacuoles, cell wall of the root hair, air spaces, right? You can see nucleus, soil water, soil particle, epidermal cells. Now you see the what is the root pressure. Root pressure is a osmotic pressure within the cell of a root system that causes the rise through a plant system to leaves. Root pressure is nothing but it is a osmotic pressure. Because of the absorption of water through the cell sap, it leads to the rise of the water in the xylem vessels and leads to the upward movement of the water for a few meters and is enough to supply water to the leaves in the small plants and the small trees. Right, root pressure is nothing but a osmotic pressure. Right, children? To demonstrate the root pressure, an experiment is there. Here, to demonstrate the root pressure in the plant, we have to take a regularly watered plant and cut the stem portion 1 centimeter above the ground level. You have to take a regularly watered plant and you have to cut the stem portion 1 centimeter above the ground level. Right? Then connect a glass tube by means of a strong rubber tubing as shown in the figure. Right? You have to connect the glass tube by means of the strong rubber tubing so that water cannot be escaped. Right? Here the size of the glass tube should be equal to the size of the stem. Right? It should not be so small and it should not be so big. Right? It should be fit correctly. The size of the glass tube must be equal to the size of the stem. Take care while joining the tube and the stem being bound tightly. Water cannot escape from the tube. Right? Our experiment or the activity is to see the whether water moves from the roots to the stem. If you will not tie it properly, then the water will escape and we cannot find the root pressure here. Now pour some water in the glass tube until the water level can be seen above the rubber tube. Now pour some water in the glass tube until the water level can be seen above the rubber tube. Right now, here mark the level of water M1 in the tube. Wherever you have poured the water, there you keep the marking M1 in the tube. Keep your arrangement aside for 2 to 3 hours. Right? Keep your arrangement for 2 to 3 hours. Then observe and mark the water level M2 in the tube. What the difference you will find here? The difference between M2 and M1 indicates the level of water raised. Right, children? When you pour the water, the level is M1. When you observe, second time you have marked the M2. The difference between M2 and the M1 indicates the raise in the water. Right, observation, there is increase in the level of water raised in the stem. Right? Because the raise in the water level is due to the root pressure created in the plant. Right, very easy and easy activity to show the root pressure. Just you have to take a well water plant, you have to take a tube and you have to take a strong rubber tubing and you have to fit it tightly. You have to wait for the 2 to 3 hours. You have to first pour the water, take the marking M1, then you take the marking M2, then afterwards the difference between the M2 and M1 indicates the water level, that is nothing but the root pressure. Right, children? There is a continuous loss of water through the stomata of the leaves in the form of water vapor. Right? This process is called transpiration. Everybody know about the transpiration as you are in the higher classes. You know about the transpiration. The stomata continuously lose the water in the form of water vapor. This process is called transpiration. The water lost due to the transpiration is taken up from the xylem vessels and the tracheids in the leaves. Right? The water is whatever the water is lost from the leaf is taken from the xylem vessels and the tracheids which are present in the leaves. Then where the xylem vessels and the tracheids are getting the water. Here, this loss of water during the transpiration create a suction pressure which pushes the water from the xylem cells of the roots. As the whatever you know that the water whatever absorbed from the root it is passed through the xylem vessels until the end of the leaves. Then here whenever the whatever the water is lost from the leaf, as the leaves is losing the water, then ultimately it create a pressure, suction pressure, then which pulls the water from the xylem cells of the roots. This result in the enhanced absorption and upward movement of the water and dissolved minerals from the roots to the leaves due to transpiration. Here, one reason is the root pressure, which is moving the water from the roots to the xylem vessels and to the stem and the leaves. And another pressure that is called transpiration, which is pulling the water. At the mesophyll also having the cell sap, which will pull the water from the xylem vessels of the root. Right. At night, when the stomata are closed, root pressure has an effect on transpiration of the water. Right. At night, when the stomata are closed, root pressure has an effect on the transpiration of the water. Here, transpiration pull is a major force in the movement of water. Right? Transpiration play a major role in the movement of the water and dissolve minerals in the xylem during the daytime. Right? Here, transpiration play a vital role. And when you see here, root pressure and the transpiration is playing a vital role. Then here you see transport of mineral salts. Right, as we know, we are saying potash and this and that we are adding for the growth of the plants. These are nothing but minerals. That we have types of minerals in the 9th class, micronutrients and the macronutrients. Already you have studied, I think so. Right, here you know that sodium is not available in the only sodium form. They are in the salt form, means they are in the combination. Right, the salts are in the form of electrically charged, like sodium chloride, sodium ion plus chlorine ion. Right, here, and the magnesium also not formed in the similar form. It will be available in the magnesium and sulfate ions. Right, here these are the things which are available. These are the mineral nutrients available for the plants. The transport of materials in the plants. How the food such as sugar is synthesized in the green parts of the plant, mainly leaves, to be transported to actively growing and those which store food. Right, here phloem is the tissue responsible for transport of food material. Already you know phloem will play a vital role in the transport of food. Right, the transport of soluble products of photosynthesis through phloem is known as translocation. A transport of soluble products of photosynthesis through phloem is known as translocation. Here, transport of prepared food and other substance takes place both in upward and downward direction. You can see upward and down. The translocation is an active process and utilizes energy. Entry of food material into phloem tissue causes increase in osmotic pressure. As a result, water from the outside move into the phloem. Right, here, as the food material enters into the phloem tissue, causes increase in the osmotic pressure. As a result, water from the outside cells move into the phloem. The osmotic pressure moves the dissolved material in the phloem to the tissue which has less pressure. Now, as it gets diluted, this osmotic pressure moves the dissolved material in the phloem to the tissue which have less pressure. Thus, material moves in the phloem mainly in sieve tubes to the place of need in the plant body. That in plants, sugar is translocated from its storage organ like roots or stem to growing regions which need energy. Right, here whatever the sugar which has to be translocated to the growing parts of the body like stem, like root, right, which need energy for the growth. Right, children, here osmotic pressure is playing a vital role in the transportation of the food material through the phloem. In the phloem having the food material, its constant osmotic pressure increases, the water from the surrounding cells enter into the phloem. In this way, the whatever the dissolved minerals, food particles are transported to the surrounding tissues and cells, and also stored food is translocated to the roots and stem which required energy for their growth. Right. Right, here one more topic. Here we want to know the how the phloem is conducting the food product. As we know, the phloem is transporting the food material. Then the biologist want to study about the food transport in the phloem. Right, the biologist first observed the aphid, that is a green fly. They observed the aphid, that is a green fly. It has a long needle-like organ that is called proboscis. Here, the long needle-like organ called proboscis help the aphid to pierce the young stem tissue, and that feed on the plant juice. Here, now biologists want to know now how the aphid is getting the plant juice, from which part it is piercing and getting the plant juice, and what the plant juice contain. Now how it is shown, now they want to study. Now the biologist, they kill the aphid while feeding, right? Whenever the aphid with the help of the proboscis is piercing the plant stem, they killed the aphid. Now proboscis is still inserted into the phloem. Now they slowly removed the body part of the aphid. Now they kept only the proboscis left into the plant stem. Had the proboscis is still inserted into the phloem, the fluid exuded out of the phloem sieve tube into the proboscis in the form of a droplets. Now, what the droplets contain now? Now, the biologist examined that the droplets contain sugar and ammonia acids. Right, children? With the help of the proboscis, it is inserting and getting the plant juice. By killing the aphid, the biologist came to know that the proboscis insert till the phloem, and it is getting the juice. What is the juice? The juice contains sugar and ammonia acid. As the aphid is taking this much amount of the sugar and ammonia acid, they cannot digest, they cannot assimilate, and they excrete in the form of the honeydews. Whenever you see the aphid which is in contact with the leaf, we will see that it is somewhat sticky because of these honeydews. Right here, further, some more experiment has been done for the conduction of the sugar by the phloem. They want to further want to do experiments on the conduction of the sugar by the phloem. Now, here, what they have done, they have taken a stem, right? They have done this experiment by removing a ring of bark from a shoot to expose the wood. They have removed the epidermis, they have removed the phloem, and they expose the wood total in the form of a ring. They removed the total part and exposing the wood. Now, what they have observed after the few days, they have seen that the food has been accumulated above the ring, but not below the ring. Here the what they came to the conclusion here, whatever the food has been observed by the leaves, that is coming to the stem, then to the root. Here, because of the ring, removing the bark in the form of a ring, the food will accumulate above the ring, not below the ring. And you can see the outgrowth also, the growth also seen above the ring, not below the ring. But this, if these continue like this, the lower part will not get the food material, and ultimately the plant may die. Right, children? The whatever the food is prepared by the synthesis, that is carried by the phloem to the each and every part of the plant. If the lower part of the plant will not get the food, then ultimately it leads to the death of the plant. Thus, it is proved that the whatever the food has been prepared through the photosynthesis, here the phloem is assimilating or transporting to the each and every, and the conducting the sugar and transporting to the each and every part of the plant.